Hello, dear friends. It is difficult to try to guess what is going on in secret, but I try to do it every day based on circumstantial evidence in the absence of direct evidence. Opinion piece. A strange silence. Something is brewing. The silence is eloquent. The sun is too active. Calm before the storm. UBS announces a new paradigm. Euro nears parity with the dollar. Something is about to explode on the sun. G20 talks of a multipolar world. Artificial intelligence to read minds. China unveils solar-powered car. Crack in Earth's magnetic field. Hundreds of Chinese protest against banks. Russia suspends gas supplies to Europe. Mass protests by European farmers. Elon Musk accuses Twitter of brainwashing people. Email scams are getting more and more personal. Let's start. There has been no new intelligence all weekend. The real event could start soon. This could be the calm before the storm. The silence is eloquent. The United Nations predicts that there will soon be 8 billion humankind in the world, and warns that inequality will continue to increase if not remedied. The Swiss bank UBS announces the end of an era and anticipates a new paradigm. The economy is losing momentum. Central banks are raising interest rates and inflation remains stubbornly high. These ingredients are creating major turbulence in the bond and equity markets. Although we have only been in this new context for a few months, it is possible that what is seen today as anomaly is the beginning of a new paradigm for the debt market and the economy. Once Swiss bank UBS. Earth crack. A crack in the Earth's magnetic field opened up last Thursday and remained open for almost 14 hours. The crack was created by a rare phenomenon called the sun's core-rotating integration region, which are large-scale plasma structures generated in the low and mid-latitude regions of the heliosphere. The sun is preparing for its most active period in the solar cycle in July 2025, and it is ready, usually active quietly. Something is about to explode on the sun. In quotes, there's an incredible looking sunspot crossing the center of the solar disk, and a large dark new core has just appeared in limbo, reports Illinois astronomer Apollo Lasky. 60 years ago, the US military accidentally created a powerful geomagnetic storm as a result of a nuclear test called Starfish Prime. The explosion caused auroras over Hawaii and the premature disappearance of all satellites in Earth orbit at the time. 4 messages. Telegraph message. The quantum computer has been activated. We have green light. Blackout required. The change from dark to light is near. Install the Signal application. The Fed's nightmare is Gisera. Message from Saint Germain through Maria Cecilia Nagari. After an intense battle with the governments of various countries, we have finally succeeded in releasing the notifications and following up on the redemption. The Dark Hats will fight to the limit of their strength to not allow the exchanges to take place. And when everything is ready to complete the process, they want to keep the money that doesn't belong to them. To release the revaluation of currencies, the White Hats had to give a little and allow government to charge 5% on trades. They will all charge the same. That money will be returned to its rightful owners as soon as the Gisela law is officially announced, which will happen very soon. When it is announced, all current governments will have to resign and call new elections within 120 days. The way of governing will be changed and the government structure will be reduced by at least 90%. I assure you that this is the end of that government. Be prepared for great surprises and excitement. The victory of the light is indisputable. Empyrean coded message. You would be surprised at all that is being shown to you all, and there is still a lot of skepticism about the plan, as well as about the temporal war, but the proof is literally everywhere. The plan is great, and there were some events that happened during this movie, which really showed undeniable proof that there is a plan. Definitively, everyone will be surprised at what is to come, especially in terms of freedom, energy, travel, health, etc. Actually, one picture is all that is needed to prove that all this is true, but it is not necessary because the proof is everywhere. Message from Puffness. We all salute and hold high the energies of vigilance for all the good that will be done once all this is sorted out. Just be assured that we know the sadness and the frustrations. We see it and we understand it. Just be careful to take the right path as much as you can. Be at peace always. We all applaud the efforts of the small contenders and the space scientists who are trying to move forward. Just be assured that the paperwork is being prepared and that the lack of paperwork is a tricky problem. Just stand firm and keep the faith. There are many voices and most of them are delusional. We are sticking to the plan's high vigilance. We continue to validate the efforts of this configured system, and we know you are losing your mind about that, but don't. Good things come to those who wait, and you have certainly waited long enough. We are on it, and we see the end result coming soon. Signals. Last week's G20 meeting in Indonesia showed that the vast majority of countries insisted on the end of the unipolar world regime. The London Metal Exchange will no longer be able to suppress gold and silver in futures contracts. The rising dollar will crush earnings growth and stifle the equity rally, according to Morgan Stanley. Bitcoin is likely to lose half of its value to $10,000 and not reach $30,000 again, investors believe. Dogecoin takes a hit at the start of the week with a 3.7% decline. Americas. Argentina, Chile and Colombia are the three countries that have suffered the worst devaluations of their currencies against the dollar so far this year. Inflation in Bolivia in 6 months stands at 1.2% one of the lowest. Cuba marks 1 year since the outbreak of 9/11, with a palpable awareness in the streets. 1 year after the historic demonstrations of 11J, Cuba downs militarized. Explosion at Oklahoma natural gas plant. Power outages could occur in Texas after the population is asked to reduce its electricity consumptions. Very difficult with the hot. Ceylon. Sri Lanka's president and prime minister agreed to resign after thousands of protesters stormed the presidential palace and set fire to the prime minister's private residence. The opposition negotiates a transitional government for Sri Lanka. Reflections. Eliminating the 3D draws by Nikki Hamid. Many have experienced burnout, mental exhaustion, irritability, and recurring feelings of being unable to tolerate more than brief periods of exposure to the drama of others. It is also too easy to quickly fall into a sense of being adrift in a sea of problems in the myriad forms they can take. Human expansion by Cryon through Lee Carroll. The human energy field in the old energy was 1 meter. Now that distance is going to change to its maximum potential of 9 meters. Common sense and sense of humor are the same thing, moving at different speeds. Sense of humor is just common sense, dancing. Cliff James. The only way to face a world without freedom is to be absolutely free, that your very existence is an act of rebellion. Sign it, Albert Camus. Europe. Fear grips European stock markets, which fall by around 1.5%. The euro is close to parity with the dollar as investors take refuge in the dollar. Pessimism among Eurozone finance ministers after their meeting in Brussels. The Dutch Prime Minister plans to apply the Great Reset to the Netherlands. Bill Gates and the Dutch Minister of Nitrogen have just partnered in a major food retailer. European farmers unite in mass protests against global restart with fertilizer and farm restrictions. Russia suspends gas supplies to Europe via the Nord Stream 1 pipeline. Germany and the whole of Europe fear a definitive cut-off of Russian gas. The Irish government faces a motion of censure after losing its majority. The French government overcomes the left's motion of censure. In France, Macron's party lost the parliamentary elections, and now a criminal investigation has been launched against Macron. On the surface, it's a story about Macron's influence peddling for Uber, but like Boris Johnson's parties, this is just a pretext to remove a compromised ruler. Blockades. The Great Travel Restart intensifies. 10,000 holiday passengers ruined as Heathrow Airport cancels 61 flights without warning. Airlines have been asked not to book affected travelers on alternative flights departing on Monday. Failures in Terminal 3's baggage system over the weekend meant hundreds of suitcases couldn't be loaded onto flights. Affected passengers are not entitled to compensation from the airlines, as the reason for the cancellation is considered to be beyond their control. Leading Germany newspaper Bild reveals that gas shortages and heating costs could mean that many German citizens will not be able to pay their heating bills this winter. The nation's Association of Cities and Municipalities has suggested providing public heating places for the most vulnerable people. Some German cities are preparing such plans. In the latest economy assessment by the University of Southeast Norway, it takes a serious view, warning that by sanctioning Russia, Germany has destroyed its business model. It now faces potential economic catastrophe. The developing world faces a wave of defaults. Experts warn. National bankruptcies precede political instability in emerging economies, all of which explains why the IMF issued a global economic alarm. Cyber security. Email scams are becoming increasingly personal, even fooling cybersecurity experts. Elon Musk reveals that Twitter is likely to be used as a psyop to brainwash the masses, and that up to 90% of users are fakes. Tech expert warns of dangerous and powerful human-like artificial intelligence. Earlier this summer, a former Google engineer warned the world that an artificial intelligence bot had been developed that could be sentient, meaning it could sense and feel things like humans. China unveils its first fully solar-powered car with a very high level of automation. Hundreds of Chinese protest against banks that have blocked cash withdrawals. Thankful police beat up swindled customers demanding their savings. Women and children were also beaten. Plainclothed officers indiscriminately attacked the victims. Images of the incident were censored on social media. The situation has been dragging on for some time due to a scam valued at $6 billion. At least 4,000 small Chinese banks have an opaque structure. Chinese company develops artificial intelligence to measure each citizen's loyalty. Researchers at China's National Comprehensive Science Center in Hefei have for the first time developed an artificial intelligence capable of reading minds and measuring citizens' loyalty to the CCP, the British newspaper The Sunday Times reported. In a now deleted video and piece, the institute said the software could measure party members' reactions to political thought and education by analyzing facial expressions and brainwaves, according to the Times. The results could then be used to further solidify their confidence and determination to be grateful to the party, listen to the party and follow the party, the researchers said. The publication was removed after public outcry from China's citizens. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.